Welcome to the Lean Rocket Lab Startup Storytelling Podcast, where we tell the raw, unfiltered stories of some of Jackson's coolest entrepreneurs, past and present. We have an incredibly exciting episode today. Before we get to that, I'd like to first of all introduce my co-hostess with the mostest, Alex Maston. What's up, Alex?
What's up, Brandon? I like the hat. Dallin is going to freak out.
Lean Rocket Lab merch.
Looks
Really?
good on you.
Thank you.
Yeah. How you been? What's going on?
I'm doing
I feel like I haven't seen you in like
I know.
2 or 3 days.
We
or something.
rendezvous at the podcast.
We do.
What's up? No.
We do. Yeah.
Alex has been busy. We're in the middle of a Lean Rocket local cohort. So
Yep.
she's been off in
I've been in Hudson, Lenawee,
yeah, all the
Hillsdale,
places, working with all the
Blissfield.
entrepreneurs. How have you been?
I've been good, busy though, you know, but it's good to sit here with our guest today.
It feels a little bit like the movie Inception. Yeah. Because we're like a dream inside of a dream right now.
Yeah.
Our guest today is none other than Jake Cross, the founder of the Uncharted Film Co. And this is a special episode for us because Jake is truly one of the OG Lean Rocket Lab members, startups. When we were opening up the lab and trying to find our original group of tenants, Jake was one of the first people inside the lab. We watched him grow from, kind of being a solopreneur who was figuring it out, hiring and expanding. And then he was a member of our first local fellows cohort.
OG.
He participated in many of our programs and workshops. And, I like am reticent to use the term like a success story of Lean Rocket Lab because every entrepreneur knows that you're kind of your own success story, but we got to have a front row seat at least and be a part of the journey and help out. And so I'm really excited to go through this. And he's gone on. The business has grown a ton. It's expanded. Why I said it's like Inception is we are in the Uncharted studio.
That's right.
Filming the podcast. And Jake is normally, and his team are behind the camera, making the magic happen, the editing and, making Alex and I sound cool. And today you're on this side of the camera. I don't even know who's running the camera.
What's going on
right
back
now.
there?
It's just like AI or something.
Yeah,
doing it. And
Chandler's
so
like,
No, we can't give credit to AI.
Jake has an amazing team. We're going to talk about all that, but it's great to have you on. This is an exciting episode because we're going to get to hear a really cool story of a true, Jackson entrepreneur kind of rise up, as they say, the glow up.
Yeah, the glow up, baby. Yes.
Welcome to the podcast, Jake.
Thanks for having me.
my
Been
gosh,
able
so
to
exciting.
study it, get ready,
You've been here from day one.
ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen how this works, so you have no excuse if you were not prepared and keep us on target and all that stuff. So.
That's right. But I can edit it out if it's not good.
So true.
We're good.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, this is let's just start from the beginning. I think people want to hear the story. I'm excited to hear the story and all the ways that the ups and downs, the challenges, the growth, the excitement. We'll mix in there some of the times our paths crossed and how we work together. But Jake, how did you even get into this business? And when I met you, you were a guy, making videos, and now you're truly like the, head of a cool company and doing great work. So just start from like the beginning, not like when I was born, but maybe like how you got into
Slightly
this.
after that.
Yeah, somewhere after that.
Well, I appreciate how many times you've called us cool in the last few minutes.
Man.
But no, I've always had a passion for, video and grew up with a camcorder in our house. So like, that's where the kind of like the passion came from. We'd go around making the silly videos. And I don't know what it was, but even in high school, I remember I want to make videos, but I'm not interested in like Hollywood,
Yeah.
like I love films and stuff, but I love like the local stories and the commercial side of it, short form stuff. So that's kind of where the passion came from. I went to school for it down in Huntington, Indiana. And that's where the business started.
Home of the Huntington Foresters.
The Huntington Foresters. That's right. Norm.
Great baseball team.
Norm, the Forester.
Never heard of them.
Yeah.
This is the first time. Wow.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
Good.
they're great. Yeah.
Yeah, they
you
sound
got
it.
you got to get to know Norm.
They play Spring Arbor University.
Oh, they
They're the
do?
same conference.
Oh,
yeah.
cool. Okay, I didn't know that.
That's why.
Everyone that's Jake's everyone that's like a Spring Arbor person
Knows that.
knows about Huntington.
Gotcha.
You know,
Yeah.
so almost
Clearly-
like
I'm clearly
almost
not
like,
one.
Almost like a rivalry, you could say.
And if you're not in the conference, you probably
don't know
anything
either of those
about
schools.
it.
Yeah.
So
Me.
it's
Yeah,
understandable.
Exactly. But Huntington, most people don't know, has a incredible videography program, right?
They do. Their whole media arts program
Yeah.
is by far their largest program. It when I was there, it was what they invested the most in, and yeah, they have a lot of unbelievable alumni all over the country doing really incredible things. But that's where the business started. With a couple buddies at Huntington, we decided, yes, this is what we want to keep doing. We're interested in the commercial side of it. So we started taking on some like free projects, some really like discounted work, building a website, getting connected, making marketing material, all this stuff.
What were you guys going after? What kind of jobs at that point? Just curious.
Anything.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
I remember car dealership, some nonprofits, some churches, some like random realtors and stuff like that. So
Okay.
really like
Yeah.
anything.
Flash mob.
If we could get, yeah, that's right. I've done a few flash mobs.
Really? That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can get into that.
Yeah, we will later.
Yeah.
There's a whole channel that Jake's still trying to delete right now. Stuff that you don't want to know about. The digital footprint.
The things that you
I'm
do
gonna
to
search and dig
survive.
deep. Yeah,
Yeah.
no kidding.
He would have done anything to make a buck back in like
Yeah, man.
2012.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, what year is this? 2012?
I graduated in 2016.
16.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, you baby.
So
Baby.
cut that out.
I graduated in 2016, and that's right. We started the business in the year we graduated, so 2015, 2016. Yeah, we were doing like free work. It was purely like, can we build a portfolio? If someone gave us $300, we were like, oh my gosh, like we made money doing
Is there
this.
anything you wouldn't do?
Not much. I mean,
$300. Wow.
yeah, that was like as a student, like to do something that we like love to do that we're doing for school and then to like get money for it. I remember like some classes would have us do projects for businesses and the business would pay the program and we're like, anyway, won't get into that.
Yeah, you were being exploited.
Yeah, maybe a little.
Yeah.
But we graduated. I was determined, like this, I knew this is what I wanted to do. Like I wanted to make it work. I was in a really good position graduating to like, have a little bit of runway too. Like I was married. My wife had a great job. We could live with family for a little bit, so we kind of roughed it and made it work. The other two guys, awesome. I loved working with them. They both went and got really good jobs doing something else. So
Off camera, you said they were both quitters, basically.
No, he didn't say that if you're
bleep
listening.
that. Yeah. I'm telling myself to bleep that. But yeah, then it was like about 5 years of freelancing where
5 years.
roughly 4 or 5 years where it was weddings, dance recitals, flash mobs. I mean, anything.
Wow.
Like really, I was working out of my house. We would do like commercial work. I made some good connections, like some clients that I still have that, maybe later in the last year or two of that. The goal was always to go fully commercial, but it was, weddings are super consistent. It was, dance recitals are really consistent, like finding the consistencies just to keep going and get to a point where we felt like we could transition. So like when we stopped doing weddings, I think we were doing 13 or 14 a year, which isn't like a ton, but it was definitely like taking up a good chunk of our time. And when we got enough commercial work, we just cut it off completely. We said, we're not doing any more weddings. If anyone reached out, we just said, we don't do that anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. So kind of like took a leap of faith there. And we try to have like enough clients to where we could feel comfortable doing that.
How did you decide when to make that? I mean, you're kind of talking about it right now, but like, was there a certain set of money that you were bringing in revenue wise that made you feel comfortable to do that? Or did you just take the risk and didn't want to do weddings anymore?
It was when we had to say no to like commercial work because we had weddings and like, too many, like we had a backup of like editing weddings. And when it got to the point where we didn't have the capacity to take on commercial work, and I didn't really have the experience at that point to like hire somebody and like really grow in that way. So it turned into like, do I want to lean into the weddings and just do this full time, or do I know what I want to do. I want to go to the commercial side. So,
When
they're
you're,
probably,
and also, sorry, when you're saying we, are you saying, is that just you?
I am, yes, I always say we, I don't know why.
I'm just making sure. Like, you're doing this alone.
Him, himself, and I.
Yeah. I just want to make sure people understand that.
At
Though.
that
You're
point-
doing it all alone.
Yeah, at that point,
At
yes.
that point. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jake, just for the sake of the listeners, the humble beginnings, you know, you're hustling weddings and answer titles and doing all that stuff. Talk a little bit about what it looks like today, what you guys do today, and then we'll kind of connect the dots there and hear the story. But what does Uncharted look like today?
Yeah. So Uncharted Film Co., we are a video production agency. So we work with businesses to help them, you know, build the right audience, build trust, authority, their branding through video content. So a lot of that is content for their website, social media content. We do some like commercial work, and then some like more like internal, like onboarding, training videos. So we do a wide variety right now. But the whole goal is to help businesses grow and address specific needs that they might have through video. We've got, including myself, there's 4 of us full time. You know, still a small team, but we're a bit all hands on deck still. But, you know, we're starting to get more defined roles and more processes in place, and, you know, continuing to figure out different ways that we can grow. And yeah, and then we're in the studio. We moved in here 2 years ago now, right downtown Jackson. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
You know, everybody thinks that this is filmed at the lab.
Really?
Interesting. I've had several people say that to me, and I'm like, nope. Uncharted. You got to go over to Uncharted. It's their studio. So you guys do a great job with the setup.
And that's one thing, like, sometimes it's like easy to think that like a lot of people know like where you are, who you are, and stuff like that. Like, one thing we learned this year is like, there's still a lot of people who, even if they've seen our stuff, who have no clue who we are. Right. Yeah. And it's just like, it was like eye opening when we were at like we were, you know, given an award at a chamber event last year, and there were so many people who were like, I didn't know you guys were in Jackson.
Right.
Like, it was just crazy. Like, it's not crazy. It was just like eye opening that like, don't just assume.
Well,
like, people know who you are. Yeah. Right.
I think one of the
that
best
too.
compliments I hear about you guys is, because obviously you've you know, worked with you on lots of video projects, and some clients and different people have as well. And I think there's always this, like, people can't believe that a local video company can make the caliber of stuff that you guys make. And so your game has evolved since, you know, we first met, and since the early days. And I think, and maybe just quickly, you can talk about the industry, but also how you got just better along the way. Like, how does that process look like? But I mean, one thing that happened that was just crazy in the last 10 years is video has become sort of everything. Like, if you think about the content just personally that you consume, I think for most people, they are on their phones watching reels and shorts, and they're scrolling and they're seeing video content. And it's like the thing that you do became really almost, probably relatively speaking, the only form of media that anyone consumes is video content on your mobile device and on your whatever. And so, like, can you just talk about that? I mean, that's crazy. You found yourself literally, I mean, you could have been like in newspaper class or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right
I
on,
mean, it's
though.
like, I think that's what they call it. Yeah.
How has that just been played out for you guys?
Yeah, I will say one way, that's very true. Like, it became unbelievably like prevalent for us, and we were in a great spot coming into it at a great time, because businesses, like, video's been relevant for a long time, but I think it had to be relevant long enough for most businesses to actually like get on board and know, like, okay, this is like something I have to do. What I would say, like, is like a big differentiator though, like with what we had to learn going through that, is like, we can't just be like, there's so much like strategy and like, I don't know, like you said, there's so many different avenues, different platforms, different markets. Like, we had to transition a little bit from like, hey, we'll make video, to like, we need to learn where video works best, and like how it works best, and like how you structure like a story, and like if you need like a hook, and like it became less about just like making a video look and sound good, and like learning all about like how it relates to people and like how you actually implement it and how you post and all those things. So it kind of like forced us in a sense to expand from just a production company to a like I don't want to say like a marketing agency, but kind of just like a marketing agency.
Kind of are,
yeah. I mean, like somewhat of a marketing agency with just like a focus in video.
Yeah.
And that was almost like a necessity. Like it felt like a necessity instead of the other option is kind of waiting for people who have convinced themselves that they need video to like reach out. Like it's hard to convince somebody that they need video. It's a lot easier to convince somebody that they need customers and like leads and stuff like that.
Well, and I mean, you guys really, in that part of that trend, I mean, you guys became sort of one of our like most critical referral partners. You know, you guys were vetted in the lab, and we were helping startups, and then obviously Ken and I working with some more established brands and growth and strategy and things like that. And it just got to the point where it was like, you know, back in the day, we needed different, you know, partners and vendors for different components of growing a business, whether it was design or, you know, digital ads or whatever. Video just became so important. It was like the main thing by a huge margin. And you guys, I think, were an early adopter of saying like, hey, we're going to produce great content. We're going to tell great stories, but then we're also going to lead the charge in the distribution across platforms. And all of a sudden you were getting video became so valuable because you could shoot, you know, you could have Uncharted make a great video for your company and then get the video in the formats that it could be distributed across all these different channels and platforms. And now you're getting so much return on the investment. And that was where I saw you guys sort of start to like hockey stick upwards.
Yeah, definitely. We went from every project that we were doing was just like one off, like you want one video, here's one video. And
it make a commercial for you or a video.
Right. Here's what there's, and it transitioned to, you know, this we'll do one video and then we will have 3 shorter versions of that video. And then we'll have a dozen social media shorts from that. And then we'll have an edit that can be used as an ad, like a 30-second ad. And
this podcast is a great example of it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You guys record the podcast and then a bunch of stuff happens afterwards that all make it actually get distributed and seen and all that stuff.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And we saw that with like a bunch of clients too. Like we would send them a video, they would put it on the About Us page on their website, and no one would ever see it. You can still like see how many views it has if it's like embedded from like YouTube, and it would have like, like a dozen views or something like that. It's like how many people are just going to find it on, even if you post it once, like you might post a video once and it does really well for a day or two. And then when are people ever seeing it again? Unless, they're like going through your website, and like at that point they're already probably so invested that the video, you don't need the video as much, you know. But
I'm a little sad we're doing this episode because it's already gotten hard to get you and your team. You know, back in the day I could just, you know, text you and we could get in the queue to get a video made, and now, you know, it's like everybody wants Jake. All the clients want Jake. You know, it's hard. You know, it's like a running joke with the businesses in the area. You're like, if you get a hold of Jake, let me know. You know, he can,
I don't know if that's a good thing.
He's just so busy, man. It's an uptown problem, dude. You guys have had a little bit of a blow up, and it's great, and you do good work. So I love to keep pouring it on, but I want to hear the story. So back in the day, you were, I don't know I think you had a membership or a desk at the Lean Rocket Lab. And then I remember at one point you had an office and you were working with people in the lab, and you were kind of, maybe you added a person, I think. And then I remember we took out a wall for you guys at one point, and you had 2 offices. And then now you're in this beautiful building that's actually a multi-purpose space, which I want to talk about that too, because you've really grown as an entrepreneur, where you're not just a guy who's good at a thing and turned it into a business. You really become like a full-blown entrepreneur. You get this multi-use space. And so talk us through it. How did it happen?
Well, going back to like when we first got connected with you guys, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but like I felt like I was pretty close to like I was working from home for like a few years, and I was starting to go like pretty stir crazy. Like literally, I was like, "Have I left my house this week?" Because I'd just be editing all the time, and like I
You
was
were
just
wearing sweatpants the first time we met, so
no way.
sure.
No way. I was
Now you're
honestly
wearing $200 jeans.
no. Oh, don't say no.
What a ride!
Got them from the
like,
garage
"Leave that
sale.
too,"
Yeah, they were from a garage sale.
Sorry, Jake.
I know it's all
I
right.
have to.
I honestly probably wore. It was probably one of the few. I remember like anytime I'd get like a meeting in town, I would be like dress pants, button up shirt. That's probably what I wore the first time.
It was a different era. You know?
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
No, I felt like I was at a point where like it didn't make financial sense to have an office, like just any office. But I was looking because I was like, I can't just like sit at home all day. I was like, people who are good going like full remote, like that's great. I cannot do it.
Me neither, man. I cannot
I
either.
can't.
I become depressed immediately.
Yeah, and like I remember like
I started to turn on my kids.
Yeah.
It's like nasty.
but like you guys called me at a time where I was like legitimately like considering like, do I want to do this if I'm just gonna be sitting at home all day?
Right.
And you guys like literally like right in that moment, like you guys called and were like, hey, we'd love to talk to you. We're putting this together. We're looking for somebody who can do video.
Did you
I was
guys
like, oh
know
my
each other
gosh.
prior to that?
No,
Not really. No.
I don't remember
How
what
did
the
you find out
connection
about him
was.
then?
I think Stu probably told me to call you.
It may have been
Yeah.
Stu. I knew I had met Stu like a couple of times. I didn't know him that well at the time either.
Yeah, I
but
don't remember how it works, but our original vision for it was, and it's evolved a lot at the lab, but we were thinking like if there were a bunch of businesses that were service-based businesses that would be able to support each other and build like a cool ecosystem, but also support the startups and the people that came in to get to work with Lean Rocket Lab.
Yeah.
And so it really played out that way. Somebody would walk through our door and we have a patent attorney, we have a
Right.
videography company, and we have a web development company. And so we kind of made it this like one-stop shop. And Jake, we needed a good video guy, and Jake was apparently sitting at home waiting for the call.
I
So
was.
that's amazing.
timed out.
On the
And
brink.
that literally worked. Like that was a good thing for everybody involved. Like you did videos for so many of the early clients at the lab, and I think you got your name out there a little bit that way too. And
Yeah.
that was a good deal if I remember right.
I remember, I don't want to take up too much time, but the first video I ever did for you guys,
Oh, please tell.
it was for the
my
the
gosh.
ribbon cutting. Do you remember it all?
Oh yeah. Oh, I do.
Oh
do.
my! If you could have seen the behind the scenes of that, oh my gosh!
Were you still one man band at that?
It was just me, yeah. And I think I went around and interviewed like 20 people.
It was a really crazy video.
It was a huge video.
Is that the one that's
and
pinned on the top of the Facebook?
Yes, I believe
it's
so.
been
That's a good
it was on
video,
our
man.
website for like 7
amazing.
years.
Okay.
And you were gonna show it at the launch event. I was at my house editing it. Like I was the day before.
This was back when
was like-
Jake was getting videos done about 4 minutes before the deadline.
Well, there's a reason
Yeah,
for this one.
No kidding.
I finished it the night before, but anyone who's done video editing before will know that like software will just randomly crash on you. Maybe photography too.
Yep.
I exported that thing maybe 30 times in different changing settings. And I remember you guys were texting me like, Jake, where's the video? And I'd be like panic, sweating. Like I remember like
This
my,
is our
my
grand
dogs
opening.
were
We
like
built the
scared.
event around
My
the video.
dogs
They were scared because I was
freaking out.
I was going crazy. Yeah.
I would too.
And I remember I changed like one more setting and I hit export. And this was like 30 minutes before the event. I'm like, if it doesn't export this time, the last like month of shooting was pointless. And it did. And I uploaded it and I sent it to you guys. And you guys said you didn't even watch it because you couldn't.
Nope.
And then you played it and it worked.
The event had already started. Like we were,
Yeah.
we had 100 people in the lab, the investors, and
I remember I was there.
and
terrifying.
we hit play on the video. I think like at first we couldn't get the sound. It was a mess, but it was an amazing impact. I think that was probably where we all saw like
The talent.
video as a way to transfer a feeling, to tell a story, to create impact. I mean, we created so much buzz out of that event, and it was largely we had interviewed all these cool people that were part of the lab's kind of origin.
Yeah.
And Jake just brought it all together, and it was sort of like, oh, this is the way that you convey something, to create buy-in and vision and all that stuff. And so that was the beginning. And then we did a lot of projects after
Yeah.
that. But that was, I remember Kenny and I were freaking out. We're like, we're going to kill
Who's
him.
that? We just met, and you're like, who's this guy?
Man,
He's
that
not
is
getting a
crazy.
membership after this.
You were out of the land. No, I'm just joking.
I remember,
no,
I remember I just want to say the first video that I remember seeing that I didn't know who did it, and then somebody told me it was you, was the 2022, or no, was it the 2022 hype video that you did for local?
We did that one, yeah.
I saw that on Facebook and I was like,
That was
oh
unbelievable,
my gosh, that is killer.
With
I
the
was
smoke
like,
Those were
and the
fun,
light,
yeah.
that
those were
was
fun.
so good.
Yeah.
I was like, who did that? And they were like, Jake at Uncharted. I was like, okay, he's going to do every single video from this point forward. So it was so good, man. It was so creative. So good.
Thank you. We did have
Yeah.
a bit of a team at that point, and like part of when you ask like how we've improved, like part of it is just like hiring, you
Yeah.
know.
Let's talk about that. So next step, obviously you were getting more and more business. You're doing a good job, but I've noticed your videos have a wider range of capability and the editing, all the different things. So talk a little bit about the team and who you added and how things improved along the way.
Yeah, I mean, just like going from just me, and you still have all these responsibilities of being a business owner, but you also have to do all the operations. Like, I felt like I could make very micro improvements to like the video quality and like how I actually do things. But it was when I started hiring that I could be like, oh, I can just like focus on these things. And most people won't get this, but like color grading is like a huge deal in video. And I hadn't like invested as much time in it. And then when we hired somebody, they had time to work on projects and actually spend way more time on like one specific thing that makes the video significantly better. And I could still be doing everything that I would normally be doing. So even just hiring, we're able to like define more roles and have people like, I want you to get really good at this like aspect of it. Instead of like having to get really good at making a video, you can get really good at like aspects of making a video.
How did you know when to hire the first one, though? How do you even know? This is a question I ask every single person up here because I'm just so interested.
So for us, I was personally at capacity. It was just me. And then our biggest client had just told us like, hey, we really want to ramp things up next year. Okay. And I didn't have the capacity to really do it. Okay. So my only option was to hire. And I didn't that's not really like my forte is like going through, like I'm not an HR person. So like I knew somebody who did it and I reached out to them and they're like, yeah, sure, I'll join you. And like, that was pretty much it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
So I didn't go through like a whole like hiring process. I like just called them and talked to them.
Did you feel okay or was it a risk?
It was a bit of a risk. I don't know. I make a lot of like, especially back then, you learn a lot, you do it.
Yep.
You don't know most of the things that come along with like hiring. And you just kind of figure it out as you go, as long as you can keep going. So I can't imagine like any kind of like financial advisor at the time would have advised hiring somebody at that time, especially without like I had a client who told me they wanted to ramp things up. There was no contract or anything.
Right.
Luckily they did. And I also knew like at the time that one client was maybe 75% of our business. Oh. So I knew like I needed to diversify a bit, especially like in Jackson. Like this was not a local client. So like I was like, I need to be able to spend more time, expanding like our local market and like diversifying clients. So like if we do lose this client or if they cut back on their budget or change anything, like we're not just like immediately done. So I kind of did it more based on that than numbers, which is not a good thing, but
we would not recommend.
Yeah.
But hey, to each their own.
Yes.
And look it's worked for you. Okay, well, we are taking a break to your regular programming for a nice little chat with our title sponsors, American One Credit Union. We got Tommy Harris here, and a lot of our clients know Tommy because Tommy leads our personal finance class for our local fellows program. So welcome, Tommy.
Hey, thank you for having me. It's a blast. I love doing the classes too. So I really appreciate having me on.
And we love having you as part of the program. So thanks for coming today. And obviously we're here with our guest, Jake Cross from Uncharted Film. And we're talking a little bit on this break about American One Credit Union and your guys' membership and how you help your members through micro lending, through bank accounts, through your financial coaching and helping them to understand their personal finances and how it impacts their business. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about how Jake has utilized your guys' services and been a member of American One Credit Union. And so let's dive in. How about that?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so Jake, you had a chance to do an MEDC grant, a Michigan Economic Development Corporation grant. Can you talk to us a little bit about that grant and then how you partnered with American One or went to American One to get some help from them?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, American One was amazing throughout the whole process. It was a reimbursement grant with the MEDC. And we had to prove that we were able to get the funding before we could, like, as a part of the application.
Okay.
So we started communication with American One early. They were awesome. We sat down and had a meeting, and they, listened to all of our needs, the whole program, and set us up with the perfect line of credit so we could just apply in the first place. And then when we received the grant, we were able to make all the purchases we need and get the reimbursement. So it made applying the timeline, it just made the whole process so easy.
Yeah, and as an OG 2022 fellow, you were already a member at the credit union. So when you had the need for the lending, the small line of credit that you needed, it probably went pretty quickly. You didn't have to do much to get that started and work through that process, right? I mean, how fast do you think that turned around? Do you remember?
Very quick, because we learned about the grant pretty last minute. So
Okay.
I think, within a few weeks, I would even say.
Oh, really?
It was turned around, and they were, even for that first communication, because we were a member and just knew people who worked there and they had helped us on other things in the past, I was able to just shoot over an email, and we met, maybe a day later and got the ball rolling right away.
So Tommy, do you want to talk a little bit about your member benefits and how, if somebody is an employer that has employees, what they might want to think about, like they think about retirement, like they think about healthcare. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. So with the financial wellness team at American One, we do the full scope of helping with financial well-being. So we just don't look at it as a member, it's like a number. We dive in, and like in your story, we were looking and building that relationship and trying to find the best avenue to help you out. We do that with all employers. So when we partner with you, we don't just look at it as, this is another person that we're gonna help. We're gonna try to help every single one of your employees that doesn't have benefits or anything like that, where we can help build off that financial well-being to help you any way we can.
Can you expand upon, because I do know that you guys work with many different types of small businesses that maybe have certain things that they want to customize for their employees, and you guys are able to do that. So can you talk to us about how you're able to customize benefits for an employees to be members of American One?
Yeah, definitely. So when we sit down with a new company that wants to partner with us, we really customize the entire package to whatever your needs are. So the entire educational pieces we learn what benefits you already have and how we can help your employees tailor those benefits to help them even more. So if it's sitting down and helping them with a retirement, helping them with building a budget, or even with credit, we sit down and help them full scope of, after we understand what you already have and what other benefits can help them out. And we customize everything in-house. So even if it's something we've used in the past, we can tailor it to you, or whatever you may need, we can tailor it to that dedicated business. A couple examples that I have is recently we just got into a production saw.
Production saw, yes.
Yes, it's amazing. And we're in their onboarding, and we tailored the entire thing to, they only had 30 minutes, but we have hit every single scope of them that they need, from budgeting the credit to they don't really have any membership. They get paid on pay cards. And we really help them understand the benefits of getting direct deposit and really getting away from those fees that pay cards have, and really just helping them out.
Well, and I think American One's mission really is, and because you guys, you just put all of your employees through this financial, personal finance training, no?
Yeah.
Which is amazing, because it's if your employees are flourishing and doing well, then the business they work for is doing well, is what I think.
There's the statistics, it's 66% of people feel overwhelmed and underperform at work once they have financial stress. So really helping them alleviate that stress by having a free resource really does help them out.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Tommy. Thank you so much to American One Credit Union for your partnership.
Yeah.
All right, back to the program.
Talk about some of the biggest challenges. I remember having conversations about, pricing. I remember you were scared to charge more at one point. How are we going to charge more? And I was like, Jake, triple your prices and see what happens. You know? And just some of the hurdles with people and the business and the pricing model. And you did a lot of things along the way to get better and learn, and whether it was different classes or conversations we had or books you read. Just talk about like the business side of it and what you learned about being a business person along the way.
Yeah. Well, I would say all around that same time, like Lean Rocket Local was probably the first educational anything I had done since school. And like I honestly, like most of the time I say like that may have been, there's a lot I took away from it, but that may have been the biggest takeaway, as like investing in like education is probably the best investment. Like up until that point, it was always investing like equipment or people or whatever. But I like realized going through the program how little I knew about running a business. Like truly, and even just like talking to Brandon and the classes and everything, I was like and it seemed like, especially when there's like information in the classes where it's like, that seems so obvious. Why wasn't I doing that? Or why didn't I know that? So like I remember like after Lean Rocket Local, like I learned a lot of things. And I immediately like signed up for another cohort. And then after that cohort, I got a business coach.
Not me. A real one.
A program. It was a program.
Are you talking about eLeap?
eLeap was after Lean Rocket Local. I did that. And then after eLeap, I hired a video agent, a specifically video agency coach.
Oh, okay.
Or I joined a program, but he was a coach, and he had the online course and like 3 like live meetings a week with the whole group, and then like a one-on-one every other week. It was like a 6-month program. And I just like those like that year where I did like local eLeap and like coaching, I was like, I would look back like a year in the past and be like, I can't believe I was running a business. Like, you know what I mean?
Insane.
Like a year ago, like without knowing this stuff.
Right.
No, I think that's so good, Jake, because I think that people assume a lot of things. They see a person that has a successful business, and one thing I think they assume is that person always knew how to do it. And anyone who's ever had a business probably has had a lot of things that failed, a lot of businesses that failed, or they failed a lot of micro times along the way. Kenny and I always joke, we almost just like sometimes have just like failed uphill, I guess. You fail, but you just like keep going, and then over time it sort of buffs out a little bit. And I think what you're saying is such a good point. And I look back at my own life and I go, okay, I learned 2 ways. I think about 10 years ago, 15 years, 20 years, however long it's been, and go, oh my gosh, I didn't, so then I think about, man, what will I know 20 years from now? But there's only 2 ways.
Oh, you're blowing my mind.
Yeah, it's crazy.
30 years from now.
And I always think like there's only 2 ways that you learn it. You learn it from experiencing it yourself, which usually in business means losing money and sometimes good people. And, just, I wish that wouldn't happen. And then the other way is when you get education. Yeah. When you get a coach or a mentor, or you're in a cohort or a program at the lab or a program somewhere else, or you hire a specific agency for your business or whatever. And really that is a shortcut. And, in some cases, those things are low cost, or maybe there is an investment that's higher, but the return is so great. And it cuts out this giant, painful, learn it on your own experience, and can sometimes be the difference of making it and not making it, learning things that save you from going out of business. And so I give you a ton of props, because I remember during that season, you were just like signing up for stuff and learning as much as you could and investing and paying for classes. And, I think you got a shortcut in some ways to, what were some of the things you took away from that stuff?
Well, I think you mentioned one, pricing. I did. I mean, when you said triple your pricing, I did. and almost immediately I got a client, like after like tripling my price. I'm like,
I
oh,
love that. I
wow,
love that so much.
that's crazy.
That's great.
So like that was like kind of opened the door to like,
But I think I told
Potential.
you triple it for everybody else, but not for me.
I think we just doubled it for you guys.
Yes.
You did say that. That's right. Another like honestly, like the and this is like part of what's great at having a team. Like I feel like I was able to like really hone in on like processes before even starting production while our team is still getting better at making videos. So like that was great. But like that would say that is by far what I learned the most in that time is like customer experience and like creating proposals. Like we went from somebody asks us, they tell us what video they want, and I put a quote together based on how much I think it would cost us to make that video, which not leaving much room for profit, you know, like, and it's like and it turned into like, now we know exactly how much it costs our business per hour to be operational. And then we're able to, translate that into like, you know, how long this project should take to shoot, edit, do pre-production. And then, you know, we have our, like how much we need to, what percentage we need to make off of that to be able to grow and not just be stagnant. So like, that's even right now, just like our pricing, like we have an actual system for it. And then like, we learned a lot in like the proposal phase. We went from like, here's one price of like what you asked for to, hey, I'm going to listen to what you want, but like, I'm more interested in like, what are your goals?
That's right.
Not like what video you want, but like, what are your goals as a business? And we've even had people, I'll be like, okay, like those are your marketing goals. Like, what are your business goals even? And it'll even be like, you know, well, we do have a lot of turnover in hiring. So like now we do like, and I learned this a lot in that time, is like tiered pricing. So it's pretty common that we'll get like a request that, you know, this is the video we want. And that might be the first tier. And then we say, well, let's pair that with this set of videos. So you have a strategy to get people in to see that video. And then what are they doing after the video? And then like, there might be a third tier where it's, you know, everything, including, you know, you mentioned that one problem with hiring. Let's also interview some of your staff. And I remember the first time I did that, I like our lowest package is what my normal rate would have been. And they took the biggest package, and I was like, oh my gosh. And it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like we were just charging more. We learned how to provide more value.
Yes. Well, I remember us talking about that, Jay, because I was like, you are thinking about these videos as like, this is how much I think it's going to cost us to make it, and then I need to add something to that.
Right.
And I was like, Jake, I think you need to think about these videos in terms of the businesses that are hiring you to make them are thinking about how much money is this video going to make me? What this video is going to have a return on investment. And so I'm willing to invest in that return. And so when all of a sudden you were selling something that was generating a meaningful return, it just changes the value prop radically. And so now you're like selling this revenue machine.
Right. You sell the result. You don't sell the product.
So
you sell
I remember
the result.
meeting with you after that, and you stopped asking, well, what do you want to do? And you're like, well, Brandon, what is your end goal here? Right? What are you trying to accomplish? Well, I'm trying to do this, or trying to do that, or trying to get. And so all of a sudden the value prop totally changed for the business. What were just like a couple of the other big lessons that you had to learn along the way?
Oh man. I mean, there were so many. One big one that we're trying to really, I'll just say like right now, like what I'm learning right now.
For sure. But you don't have it all figured out today. You're still
I was
working
going
on
to say,
stuff.
anyone who feels like they have it figured out probably hasn't like taken a class, and they don't know how much they don't know.
Literally in our cohort today, that's what the entrepreneur panel was said to the small business.
Man.
If you feel like you have it figured out,
Yes.
you're probably so far away from
Yes.
I actually
having
think
it figured out.
The ironic part is the problems actually get bigger along the way, not less.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just make bigger, different problems. Yeah.
Exactly.
What I'm learning, like really diving into right now, is I just read Unreasonable Hospitality.
Oh, you must have been talking to Ken.
We did nerd out about it. I read it like a couple months
That
ago.
was our
and
book
then
of the quarter.
I went over and talked to him. I was like, "Have you run on regional hospitality?" He pulled it out, and we're like, "Oh my gosh!"
And then you actually regretted that you asked, because
No,
if
I
you get,
love it.
get Ken going on
Tell us a
unreasonable
little
hospitality.
bit about it.
I
I don't
love
know
it.
What, what was like a key takeaway for you on that book? It's amazing for those of you who haven't read
It is amazing, and it's about a guy who runs the number one restaurant in the world at one point. But the entire book, it's about how he took this restaurant and made it the number one in the world, and he never talks about food. He talks about customer experience and like taking what, like what would be like, what do people expect from their experience, and then just taking it so much further, and like not making anything feel like a transaction. It's not like a business client relationship. It's like people. It's like human to human, and then like even like mapping out what is every point that your business, every touch point that you have with the customer, like every single one, and like how can you make it better? And then like you do that, and then you reevaluate later, like how can you make it better again? Right. So we're trying to like implement a lot of that right now, and even like the simplest stuff that we've like started to do, we just like we get like thank you letters and stuff, like for just interactions. And
You're not sending people videos 30 minutes before they're supposed to play them anymore.
Not anymore. No.
Man, what a success story.
Yeah.
I want to talk about this because we're running out of time. Just when I thought you guys were going to be this nice story of, hey, we just grew this video company, you took a major risk, and like something that to a lot of people probably was like out of left field, and you really made almost a real estate play. And the process was super cool. You worked with a bunch of our partners, the MEDC and American One, and you said, hey, we're going to move out of the lab. We've outgrown it. We're going to get a building, and we're going to make a studio and a podcast studio. And it turned into apartments and this whole renovation. And there were times where I was like, oh boy, you walked us through the building.
That's what I remember walking you and Ken through, and you guys were like silent.
And you're like, how much do you think this is going to cost? We're like, way more than you think it's going to cost. And so anyways, you did it. It worked. It was awesome. And now I even think you're looking at expanding again. But tell us the story of how you went from, a video company to really taking a big entrepreneurial leap and like kind of a next step for you in the business, and just yourself personally too.
Yeah. I at that moment, like you said, we were like, the lab was incredible for our business. It was just space. Like we were just running out of space. And we wanted to continue to hire, and we were getting new equipment. So we were looking around.
I remember you guys were like shutting down the conference rooms every week to record. And yes. They're outgrowing this
sorry,
place.
guys.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
But we honestly, it started where we were just looking for space, and we're like, should we consider buying a space? Like, I don't know, maybe. And then we started like learning about like programs like the MEDC and all this stuff. And then we learned about a grant that like, if we got it, it would be like, they're going to give us money. Like, they're just going to like help us pay for the project. Like, why wouldn't we do that? But like that whole process was like, I didn't know how to do any of that. My take on it was like, I'm just going to like start emailing, like meeting with people. I think I met with like probably 2 or 3 people in the whole process. Were like, why are we meeting? I don't do any of this. Like, I have nothing to do with this. I was like, okay, sorry, I'll talk to somebody else. I was just like meeting with like everybody.
Just
like trying to learn. Like, I remember meeting with like people from the MEDC and Eagle and the city. And like, I think, I met with you guys at the time. And I was just like, and by the end of it, I was like, okay, I think I know what I need to do. And it just like made, with like the support out there, the grants, the partners, like it made a lot of sense, like why we would like purchase a building and bring in, like lease part of it out. So now we've got 3 apartments.
You invested yourself. You got some family money, I think, involved too. You got your dad.
Yeah, me and my dad own the building.
Yep, your dad. And then you worked with American One through the local program. They got you some access to capital. And then you leveraged an MEDC downtown development grant, I think.
Yeah,
right?
Build My Community.
Build My Community.
Yeah, we worked with County National Bank too. We worked with both of them.
And that was the thing we talked about a lot in the fellows program, was the idea of like capital stacking a big project. Like it doesn't have to be one thing, and it doesn't have to be all your money or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So you kind of work really creative. You worked really hard. You talked to a lot of people, and you found a stack of funding to make it possible. This building was essentially just stressed building downtown. It had been empty for a long time.
It was nothing. Yeah, it was gutted.
It was gutted. I remember there were holes in the wall.
Yeah, you
like,
could see
literally.
from the 3rd floor to the basement.
Yeah.
It's this old Bethel lighting.
Bethel lighting, yeah.
Bethel
Yeah.
lighting,
Yeah.
And so talk about the project, what you did, and what it is today.
So today we got 3 apartments upstairs. We've got 2 commercial spots. We're in one right now, and the other one is Dapper Man. He's up front. Yeah, I mean, it took us a couple of years to put it all together. A lot longer.
yeah.
Like when you do, that's the downside to the grants.
I
And
remember
working
you
with
were
anybody.
like, Brandon, I'm moving out.
long
And I was like, oh,
time.
Yeah,
all
I
right, man,
know.
we'll see you later. And then you're like 2 years later, I was like, hey, when are you moving out?
Yeah, I think I had to.
MEDC land.
Yeah, I know. I think it went from like a 4-month project to like, because we weren't able to start the project until we were approved.
Right, which is just
Officially.
how construction projects go. People
Yeah.
don't realize that.
But
I've learned it the hard way. A bunch.
We didn't get approved officially. Like we had like a letter of intent early saying like, hey, as long as you like follow your plan, you're gonna get this grant.
We'll do this, yeah.
But the official approval, 13 months after we bought the building.
Right.
So we were just sitting on it. I mean, we were trying to do like little things here and there just to make it so when we were ready. But by the time like we got approved, like all of our contractors were like ready to go. It was only like a 5-month renovation before people were like moving in. And we had, we opened in May of 24. And at the beginning of April 24, we had the whole place rented out. So a month before we opened. And there were a few like decisions, like, you know, we were looking at like rental space, and if it was going to be like a legitimate like improvement from like the Lean Rocket Lab in terms of space, we were going to be spending like $1,500 to like $2,000 a month probably anyway. And that's when we started looking like, well, if we buy, can we like have somebody else help us pay for, you know, the building, like
Yeah,
the
you're thinking
lower
like
our
an
rent.
entrepreneur for sure.
And, you know, and that's kind of how it got started. And it was like, well, no, if you just buy it outright, it just doesn't make sense. You just can't. It's going to be expensive. It's going to be more than renting. It's like, oh, but look, here's this program. Like, and that will get the monthly costs down to this. And, but yeah, it was a few months. We moved in May of 24, and we've been here since. It's been slowly growing. Yeah. 2 years now.
It's incredible, man. Congratulations. What's the future look like? What are you guys doing in the next 2 to 5 years?
2 to 5 years. I mean, we still want to grow our team. We've got a lot of offers that we're working on. I would say one thing I'm in the middle of right now is there's a balance between education and action. Sometimes you get too far into education and it's like, wow, I've learned so much. And it's like, oh wait,
need to go
I haven't
apply
done
this
anything.
somewhere.
Yet. Yeah.
Right.
Or you like start applying something and you learn something else. And you're like, oh, maybe I should do this instead. Anyway.
Can I give a plug for you though? Because on your website you have a video assessment. No?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you were developing this, you had the Lean Rocket Lab go through it. And
Yeah.
we came out with a score of like 33 out of 100 because our video usage on our website is not where it should be. And so I encourage everyone to go and take that assessment. I think it's really good.
Thank
So,
you. Yeah,
you're
it's I appreciate it. Yeah, it's an assessment that we train the assessment on how we strategize, how we structure a lot of our video proposals, and the type of content that you need to attract people, to educate them, and to build trust. So like it's built on that, and it will assess if you're doing that now, and then if you're not, make suggestions.
Well, we're following your suggestions.
Are you
Jake.
good?
We are.
Awesome. That's good to know. I love that.
Yes. So everyone go do it.
But we're like, we're trying to implement things. Honestly, like a lot of what we're adding now is how do we continue to add value? Not necessarily like, improve one area or another, but there's so many new tools out here now that like, video first is so powerful because when you do a video, you typically end up with like hours of transcripts of like data and information that can be like used to repurpose content and like take it so much further and stretch it so much wider than just like even a package of video can do. So we're really expanding in that way and looking for developing some partnerships to just absolutely maximize the amount of like value and potential that you can get out of like a video. We're also, we're somewhat looking at expanding our podcasting studio and like having another larger space. We have been in here 2 years and we're kind of starting to outgrow it a little bit. Like we don't plan on going anywhere here, but we are looking for expanded studio space, so we can offer more, help more businesses do this.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's, I mean, we want to continue to, I mean, potentially grow our team if it makes sense. But yeah, really just provide, and with the hospitality stuff, just how can we create a better experience and provide more value? So that's it.
Well, you guys do amazing work. Your team is amazing, Jake. And not only do you guys do small business commercial work, but you also do short films, which you guys is really fun. So if people are into that, they can catch you there too, right?
Yep, that's
you
right.
And Chandler doing that. So that's cool.
Good stuff. Well, just happy for you, man. You and your team, bunch of nice people, doing a good job. Proud of you and the success. And I know you're going to keep doing good stuff. And so thanks for being our guest today. It's been great to have you on. Great to hear the story.
Thanks for having me. And I owe a lot. I don't think I touched enough on like how much I owe to the Lean Rocket Lab. Like truly. I'm not just saying that because you're right here. I say that to everybody. So you guys were, even like when we were going through, like I mentioned the phases of not really having as much of a plan, like you guys were the one coming to us with work, so it definitely is like a big reason why we're at where we're at. So I appreciate it.
Thanks. All right.
All right, everybody. Thanks, Jake. That was awesome. You know what to do. Go on, subscribe, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, so you can get the next episode, because why would you not? Bye.